Hello and welcome to another Wednesday Facebook Live. It's lovely to see you. My name's Craig. I'm from the website mansioningles.com, where we have free material for you to improve your English, and also the podcast inglespodcast.com. That's also free, and you can find that podcast on inglespodcast.com and anywhere where you listen to your podcasts. And with me, I'm excited to welcome Monica Stocker, who's coming back this Wednesday. Hi, Monica.
Yes. Hi. Thank you for having me. And I just want
Always
to say
a pleasure.
thank you. I would like to mention that I am the author of Blog del Inglés, and also the old blog was Blog para Aprender Inglés. And there you can find lots of free material for learning English. Okay. And we also offer online classes, either through Skype or Zoom or any platform. Okay, so you can check in Blog del Inglés. There's a link there to the English classes if you're interested.
And it is a wonderful blog, very recommended for everyone to go and visit Blog del Inglés. If you are watching the replay on Facebook, thank you for joining us. And people are starting to join us live at the moment. Hi, Carlos. God bless you too. Gemma's here. Hello, Gemma. How are you this week? What's going on? Gemma's in the house.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. Heide from Buenos Aires.
Let us know where you're from. Hi, Heidi. Good to see you again. If you're new, tell us where you are in the world. And while we're waiting, we'll tell you what we're going to speak about. Monica, what are we speaking about today?
Supermarket vocabulary. That's very, very useful because sometimes you need to describe what you want to buy, or when you do the shopping. That's important difference with to go shopping and do the shopping. No? You do the shopping when you go to the supermarket to buy some groceries, and so perhaps you need to explain in English. Well, I need to buy, I don't know, a melon. I need to buy vegetables. I need to buy meat, and I need to know. I need to pay. I need to find the different items. So we're going to talk about all these words related to supermarket. And hope that you can benefit from this class. No, it's like a class.
Yep.
So
we're going to look at some vocabulary connected to supermarkets that you may or may not know. We'll look at the pronunciation as well, and then we'll ask you some questions and have a discussion on supermarkets. Hello, Pilar. Thank you for joining. Hi, Norma from Mexico, and Pilar's from Asturias. Is it cold up there in Asturias? It's getting cold all over Spain at the moment. We're going into winter. So I hope you're doing well. Okay, let's start. Shall I take the first one, Monica, or do you want it?
I just wanted to mention something about this. Okay, supermarket is, let's supermarket vocabulary. No, I'll take this one. Supermarket, hypermarket is very easy to understand for a Spanish speaker, okay, because it's the same word. Okay, supermercado, hipermercado. But then you have the word grocery shop or grocery store. Grocery shop, British, grocery store, American. And what's the difference between a supermarket and a grocery store and a grocery shop? Do you know what the difference is? I don't know. I know that supermarkets, at least what I know, okay? Supermarkets are part of a chain. Like it's considered something much bigger. They can be, we see here in Spain, for example, we have Mercadona, we have Carrefour, we have that's supermarkets, or in the case of Carrefour, I would say hypermarket because it's very big. Okay, but Alcampo, all these. But grocery store or grocery shop is just a small shop where you can find, of course, vegetables, kind of the same thing, but it's not a chain. That's basically the difference. So in a way, you can say that all the let me see, all the supermarkets can be grocery stores, but not all the grocery stores are supermarkets. Something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when I think of a grocery shop, I think of it as being smaller than a supermarket. I think it as maybe being family owned, a much smaller place, and selling not selling a wide variety of products. One interesting thing, as you said, Monica, about shop and store. Yes, shop is more British English and store is more American English, except when we speak about department stores, because a department store, like in Spain, we have El Corte Inglés. In the UK, we have Selfridges, for example. In America, they have Macy's. These department stores with various departments, we say department store in the UK. So generally speaking, store is in the UK, in America, shoe store, grocery store, etc. And shop is a British English word.
Yeah,
just wanted to
and I
clarify
wanted
that.
to say that in Spain, we have one word for that reminds me of grocery store, but it's not very common anymore. What's called tienda de ultramarinos.
Yeah, I heard that.
And in
Ultramarinos.
ultramarinos, it was because the products came from overseas, so from another countries, and but it sounds very old. Sometimes in Madrid, in the old part of Madrid, you might find still tienda de ultramarinos, and that it's family owned kind of small shop, supermarket. But
so what would you
that's
call in your area, your neighborhood, your barrio, if there was a shop that sold just a few things like in tins and maybe some fruit and vegetables? What would you call it?
We call it. It's funny. It's funny because you call it now the Moroccans, the Moroccans, because they're usually owned by Moroccans. Where are you going? To the Moroccans, or the Indians, or the Chinese is the one of vamos al chino, vamos al this es the nationality. La tienda de voy a la tienda y de yes, this it's funny because we don't. Well, there's the word verdulería. If it is only vegetables, or la frutería, if it is only fruit, you have that word. But in Spain, really, and at least in Madrid, many times you use just the name of where you at the Moroccans, buy it at the Moroccans, and that's the small shop. But the big ones is just also we use a lot the brand, not supermarket. So I'm going to Mercadona. I'm going to
the name of the supermarket.
The name of the supermarket. Yeah.
So as Monica said, we have supermarket chain, and a chain is the company that has different supermarkets, usually in the same country, but maybe they're an international chain. For example, over here we have Mercadona, as Monica said, and Consum is another one, and different areas in Europe have different supermarket chains. And in the UK, I was telling Monica before we started going live that when I grew up in the UK, the Co-op was a supermarket chain. And Co-op is short for cooperative, because all of the workers who worked in the supermarket had shares. If you're a Spanish speaker, acciones, shares in the profits of the supermarket. And there's a supermarket chain where I live in Valencia called Consum, where I think that's a cooperative. I think the people who work there have a share in the company's profits. And they're very nice because they want the customers to come back and they want to make more money. They have a share, a small share in the business. So it's a cooperative when the workers have a share in the supermarket or in the business.
Okay, this is for me, retail and wholesale. Let's start by wholesale. Wholesale means venta al por mayor. So when you have a small shop, they need to buy from a wholesaler because they are going to just need some amounts, small amounts for selling in the neighborhood, no? And usually we call retail venta al por menor, the shop, the small local shop, is a retail shop or retailer. And the wholesale is the big chains, and they are very big chains that distribute food all over. Okay, so that would be venta al por mayor. So sometimes there used to be here in Madrid one supermarket that was called Macro, that came from Holland, from the Netherlands, and it was a wholesaler. And what they did was they sold only to certain, for example, to bars, to people that buy a bigger amount to make a discount. Usually the idea, discounts, because there is a discount. If you buy a lot, you're going to get a better price for the same product than if you buy one. Okay, so the idea of Macro was that, to sell to bars or to professionals, that to restaurants. So it was a wholesaler, but it was a very, very unique kind of supermarket. Okay, but most supermarket, I would say, is retail, because they sell to customers like us, to persons, not to big, in Spanish it's called superficies, big department stores, or all kinds of hypermarkets and all that. Okay, I think it was clear. I don't know if you understood.
Yeah, perfectly clear. It's strange that you mentioned Macro, because my parents had a small shop in the UK where they sold some food, and they bought from Macro.
Yes,
that was their wholesaler. That's where they brought their things from, and then they sold them in the shop. Exactly. By the way, if anyone has questions, Laura, this is with us. Hi, Selenia, Philippa. If anyone has questions, put them in the chat.
Just write them down, no?
And we'll answer them for you. But moving on, we have 3 words connected to supermarkets where you pay. So the cashier, and it's the same in a bank. The cashier is the person who receives the money. So you pay for your food. And where do you pay? You pay at the checkout. So the checkout area is where they scan the food, and where you give your money to the cashier. So the cashier is the person. And where does the money go? The money goes in a machine called a till, T-I-L-L. So the till is where the cashier puts the money. It's also used very often in place of checkout. So you can pay at the till. That's the place where you give your money.
Can I add something?
Yep.
Till actually in Spanish would be la caja, no? But
yes.
it says that this is a removable box within a cash register containing the money. So
exactly.
it's like a drawer, actually. And the word till means drawer, como un cajón.
Exactly.
So I have a sentence here that I like a lot. Pull all the tills and lock them in the safe.
So to pull the till is to take the physical machine.
O sea, coge la caja y guárdala en la caja fuerte, ¿no?
Yep,
exactly. And lock them bajo llave. Lock them in the safe. So.
And you just said the next word, cash register. What's that?
Registradora. Cash register. The cash register is la caja. Wow, sorry, because it's two ideas. This is the machine.
Yes.
This is the machine. Okay.
Yes.
So we said the till is the box inside the machine. No. But this is
but very often it's interchangeable.
Exactly, because in Spanish it's the same.
Yeah.
The cash register is la caja. And what happened that nowadays the cash register is electronic, so it just reads the barcodes and all that, no? And in the past it was like with big keyboards. I remember they did, and it was very noisy, no?
And it had a bell, and you pressed it, and it went ding.
Exactly. Well, I didn't see that, but this was maybe in your time was.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. And they had the beads to count the money. I know they used beads to count the money, and an abacus.
Beads to count the money, like the
bartering.
Bartering,
You
bartering's
took
tricky.
you took your
Bartering
chickens and your goats, and they gave you food. Yeah,
yes,
I know.
was not my time. I already, when I was born, they already had this cash register. No, okay, this cash is money, and register, registrar. So, like lo que registra el dinero. That's the meaning of this word, cash register.
Can I ask you something? When you
Yeah.
go to the supermarket, also
Mhm.
people watching, I'd like to know if you do this. Do you go to where there's a physical person that you can speak to, or to be quicker, do you go through the checkout where you just use your credit card and there's nobody there?
I do both. And I tell you why. Because my husband loves to go to the places where you do it yourself manually, but I don't like it because there's always something goes wrong, and you have to call call the supervisor. Always like it.
Why does your husband prefer it? Because it's quicker,
Yeah,
or
he
because he
thinks
doesn't
you're
have to speak to anybody?
no, because it's quicker.
Okay. Usually it's quicker. Yeah,
Yeah, it
hopefully.
is. If you know how to do it, unless you have to call the supervisor.
Yeah.
There is always a supervisor, and you start clicking, "No, call me," or the machine starts ringing or doing something weird. Okay, so
Okay, a barcode reader. So obviously products have a barcode. Everything is in the supply chain, and we spoke about that last week. If you didn't see last week and you want to watch it, I'm sure it's on your blog, Monica, and it's also on Mansion Inglés. We spoke about the supply chain. So when
hmm,
you go to the checkout and, well, let's look at the next one. They swipe um, the barcode with a machine automatically. The computer knows that they need to refill the stock in the supermarket. So if you buy a packet of sugar, when the barcode gets swiped, then they need to replace the sugar and send one more. It's all automatic these days. So the barcode
yeah,
reader is the machine that reads the barcode.
yeah, and this makes it easier for everybody.
Exactly.
So, um, so this I don't well, I don't have to say. I don't have anything else to say because you already explained. The card swipe is the act of passing a swipe card through a card reader. That's to swipe.
But
To
this is
do
more
like
to
this.
pay, isn't it? This is to read
Yeah,
the credit card.
yes. And the objective is to pay, no?
Yeah.
And well, you already talked about checking out, place where one pays for goods selected. This
Very
is the
good.
checkouts. And you know the origin of the word check?
The origin of the word check. It sounds German to me. Is that right? Or maybe
Yeah.
Scandinavian. Scandinavian?
No, it comes from chess.
Ah, to check.
And it's chess is check when you attack the king, and
Yes.
so you stop the king from moving.
Uh-huh.
And that's the origin, because when you check something, you say, okay, wait, stop. You have checkmate when you kill the king, but before that, then another move is the check, and that is to stop, means to stop, to check. And the origin, I think, maybe it's all English. This word, I don't know.
Possibly, but it's
And,
also used
and
in sports. If you play ice hockey and you
yeah,
check the opponent, then your body stops the person from going forward. So it's a similar meaning.
so
But
the
there's
check
also
is
another check, CHEQUE, which is it talon in Spanish? To write a
talon.
check.
Well, yeah.
Same
That's another
spelling,
meaning,
same
I think.
pronunciation, different
Yeah,
word.
this different word,
Mhm.
another. But I didn't know that to check was to attack the king. Well, that's it.
Yep.
So
And checkmate is when you win the
when you
game.
kill,
Yeah.
you kill the king. So at the
Mate.
end, that's the objective of chess.
Exactly.
Receipt. That's very easy. That's once you. I don't know if it is my turn. It's your turn, I think.
Okay, so receipts is the piece of paper you get when you buy something. And in Spanish, for some reason, maybe you can explain why, Monica, you say ticket, which is an English word.
It's true.
It is an
It's
English
true.
word, But we
It's
don't
true, but we
say,
never, the
we have
ticket
different
is
use.
exactly double ticket.
Why do you say
Yeah,
ticket in Spanish?
I have no idea. That's I never investigated that, but there must be a reason because the
Okay,
ticket
so
is
let
like
me
actually for getting into some kind of
exactly.
show or some.
So the English word ticket
Yes, ticket.
that you translate receipt
I
to,
think,
ticket
yeah,
we would use for, as you say, a concert ticket, for example, a
yeah,
plane ticket, a bus ticket, a train ticket. So when you travel, you get a
yeah.
ticket. When you go to the theater or a concert, you get a ticket for entrance. Receipt is the piece of paper at a supermarket. When you pay, you get a receipt with all the prices. Just be careful of the pronunciation. The P is silent
Receipt. Yeah,
and the stress is on the second syllable, receipt.
receipt.
And the seat is like when you sit down
Receipt.
where on a seat, it's exactly the same pronunciation. Receipt. Receipt.
Ana Laura says recibo, but it's true, it's recibo. In Spanish, we have the word
Yes.
recibo, but we, at least in
So
Spain,
ticket.
I don't know if and Ana Laura is from Spain.
¿Tienes el ticket?
Yeah, and it's true that in Spain we never say, yeah, we call this piece recibo.
Recibo.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right, Anna. Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
go to supermarket, usually you say ticket, me da el ticket.
Mhm.
No me da el recibo. Normalmente, recibo it will be in another, for example, I think it could be un recibo is when you go, you pay something, you buy something at a shop, and you don't want an invoice, just the ticket. It's another word.
We should explain that. I'll put that word in the chat. Invoice is very similar to a receipt, but an
Boleta in my
invoice
city, yeah.
is what's the word for invoice in Spanish?
Factura.
Factura. So it has the tax number on it, and it's more of an official
official
document. So
paper.
yeah, you need that for tax purposes, but a receipt is more for day-to-day things. Okay, what's next? Your favorite.
Aisle. Be careful with the pronunciation of this word because the S is silent. Aisle. Aisle. And I was looking into the origin of this word, and it actually comes from French. And it means the lateral division of a church. Elle. That's the reason, probably, that I'm just guessing, I don't know, that we pronounce aisle, without an S. And actually, it's very easy to remember because in Spanish, we say ala. When we're talking about a building, in a formal way, en el ala izquierda, ala derecha, yeah, and that's the origin of the word aisle. And aisle in English means pasillo. In a supermarket, we wouldn't say ala, we would say pasillo. Okay? So aisle is pasillo, but the origin is ala. Very easy, no?
Yep.
Yeah.
And the pronunciation, if you think of the contraction of I and will together, aisle, that's exactly the same pronunciation. Again, another silent letter, the silent S. So I will, aisle is the pronunciation. There's an aisle in a church, as you said. There's an aisle in the supermarket aisle, and also in an aeroplane. There's an aisle. You walk down the aisle, you get an aisle seat or a window seat in an aeroplane.
Lourdes is asking about bill and voice
Good
and
question.
bill.
Good question. Bill, it's collocation. So you ask for the bill in a restaurant, but you ask for receipts in a shop.
No, so invoice. The difference with invoice.
The difference between invoice and bill?
Yeah, I would say that bill is for private people. And invoice is more like for companies. I always heard, at least, or no?
Well, I think it's more collocation. Because
as for the bill. Yeah, it's true, but
also there's electricity bill. I wouldn't say electricity invoice.
Exactly, because it's for private people. This is, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Okay.
Private people.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Utilities as bill. All the utilities is always bill.
Gas bill,
Invoice
electric
is when
bill.
you have a shop, for example. Can I have the invoice because it's from another shop, from another business, business to business invoice, business to consumer bill. Okay.
And also in a restaurant and cafe.
Yes. Next one.
I would say not rare, Gemma, strange. It sounds strange to say recibo instead of ticket. Yeah, I
Yes.
think maybe also it's a Spanish thing, Gemma. Maybe people are watching from
Yeah, they have
Argentina.
different names.
Merta, in Argentina, do you say
Hmm.
recibo or do you say
No, they say
ticket?
boleta. They say boleta.
Ah,
Mm.
okay.
They have another
Boleta.
word. I
Another
know
word.
that.
Okay.
And rare is something exclusive in English. It's more like something unique, no?
Yeah.
More than strange. Collocation.
Okay.
Next one.
Next one. Is it me?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you
Okay.
go shopping, you put your products, the food, in different things. So you can put your shopping in a trolley, which has wheels, and you push it, or you can put it in a smaller basket, a shopping basket. What you see very often on internet websites is shopping carts. That's because it's an Americanism. In American English, a shopping trolley is called a shopping cart, the thing with wheels. So it's been adopted, it's been taken on the internet when you check out of a website, and we also use checkout when you buy things online, then you go to your shopping cart and you pay online. So to recap, shopping cart, American English, trolley, British English, both with wheels, and the basket is the smaller thing, a shopping basket in your hand.
Can I say something to remember the word trolley? And
Yes.
actually, the origin is to roll. To roll. So, para rodar. To roll. That's
Ah,
why it's trolley.
I didn't
Okay.
know that. Very, very
Mm.
interesting.
So it's easy to remember if you think about that. To roll. Okay.
Hmm.
So it makes some reference to the wheels actually. Hmm?
Yeah, Lourdes was
So
clarifying bill and
ah,
receipt. Yeah, bill
ah,
in a cafe and restaurant, and receipt in a shop or supermarket.
good question. And well,
It's
anything,
you. Whoa, you have a lot
Oh,
here.
okay. Different brands, own brand, well-known brand, household brand. Okay. Yeah, brands. It's very easy because it's marca. Okay. When you go to the supermarket, sometimes you're looking for a brand. Okay. Because you don't want the supermarket's own brand because you think, okay, this brand is well known, and when they have their own brand, and it's also called white line, línea blanca, okay, something like that. That you
White label, we'd say in English.
white label, yeah,
White
white
label.
label. That is actually the same product but made with the brand of the supermarket, no, the own brand.
Yeah.
So marca propia.
Hmm.
So and well-known brand is uh, a brand that is well known, so reconocida, no? So when you go to the supermarket, Craig, do you buy any brand? You don't care, or you go looking for well-known brands?
I like a supermarket with choice, and there's a supermarket in Spain that I really dislike intensely. And it's not only because I think the people working there are very rude, impolite where I live, but also because they really only have their own brand products. They don't have a diversification, a selection, a variety of different products, and it's Mercadona. Their
You
brand,
dislike? That's
I
true.
hate Mercadona with a
Yeah,
passion. They
yeah,
have their own brand, which is Hacendado. And if you go
yeah,
and buy a tin of tuna, or if you go and buy some
yeah.
cheese, cheese is not a good idea, but many, many, many things in Mercadona are only Hacendado. And I
It's
know
true.
that it's good value
Yeah,
for money, but there's no choice. And I'm
yeah,
only
that's true.
asking for 2 or 3 different choices. And no, there's just Hacendado or nothing. And that's why I dislike Mercadona
But it's
very
funny
much.
because I have the opposite feeling. Like I love Mercadona. I'm always going to
It doesn't bother you that you have to buy their things.
No,
Okay,
doesn't
fine.
but what happens is that usually there's a difference in price, huh? Because when you start having different brands and different things, if you go to Mercadona, there's not too much choice. So you always buy the basic things. But if you go to Carrefour, I start, oh, these cookies, these biscuits that I haven't seen for years, let's get it. And then this other one, and this ice cream, and then I go out and it's very expensive. And I said, in Mercadona, you have no temptation. So, but it's getting more expensive also. Mercadona is not as
that's why. Do you know why? Why is it getting more expensive?
Because
there's no competition. There's no choice. They're not going to compete with themselves. So when they're going to raise the price and there's no other company to compete with them.
Yeah, but it's also probably the supplies are getting more expensive.
Maybe.
And can you translate household brand? Marca doméstica?
Household brand is any brand that's well known. That's why there's it's more or less the same. So, for example, what's a household brand? Kit Kat, Coca-Cola. Everybody knows them. They're well-known brands and they're household brands. The household is really your house, anything that's connected to your house. So a household, when it's an adjective, describes a well-known brand. One thing I want to clarify, and that's the difference between brand and make. Because you said brand is marca, but make is also marca, I think, in Spanish. Like Ford is a make of car. And Coca-Cola is a make of, it's the same word in Spanish, but there's a difference in English.
Marca? But I don't understand.
The make of, you speak about the make of something. For example, Apple is a make of computers. Ford is a make of cars. Mercedes is a make of cars. Brother is a make of printers.
Yes. That you use that expression, a make of.
A make of. Yeah. And in Spanish, it translates as marca also, but there's a difference because the brand is your perception of the company. The brand is the color of the logo. It's the perception of the quality of the product. What you think of when you think of Mercedes is not the same when you think of another brand of car like Skoda, for example. The perception is different. The marketing is different. So brand is more complicated than make. And make is the name of the company that produces the product.
There are some questions. Like, let's see.
Hema also loves Mercadona, so you have someone on your side.
Leader. No, and Graciela is asking about leader brand.
Where?
Leading. I would say leading.
A leading brand?
Yeah, leader. She put leader.
Yes, a leading brand. ING.
Leading. Yeah, leading.
Yeah,
leading
ING.
Brand. Yeah.
So let's think of some examples. A leading brand of Apple is a leading brand of computer hardware, and Microsoft is a leading brand. Can you think of other leading brands?
Yeah, Nestle for chocolate or for milk or certain products for babies.
Exactly.
It's a leading brand. There are many leading brands that we know very well. Okay.
El blog para aprender inglés is a leading brand for learning English.
Okay. And Mansión Inglés too.
No, there's another Mercadona lover.
I love Mercadona too, you see? A lot of fans.
I can't stand Mercadona. I hate it with a
because
passion.
it's different approach to the product. Okay. So
that's a nice expression. You make do with second best.
Yeah.
To make do is to
apañarse.
Support, apañarse, yeah.
Yeah, apañarse con el segundo mejor. Okay. So, and what
is that a question for you or for me? The make of my car is Mazda. I have a Mazda. So it's the make.
Make. And okay, next one. This is for you. Prepackaged, frozen.
This is for me. So these adjectives all describe goods or bienes or products. So you can have a pre-packaged goods, frozen goods, canned goods, and household goods. Prepackaged goods, the prefix pre means before. Prenatal, before birth, for example. Prepackaged means that the food has been packaged before. So if you go to a supermarket, you can buy fresh fish or fresh meat or fresh cheese, or you can buy food that has been packaged before, and that's pre-packaged food or goods. Frozen is obvious. To freeze is the verb, and frozen foods. And a can in Spanish, if you're a Spanish speaker, is lata. So canned food or canned goods. And there's another word that I'll put in the chat also, which is tinned, because if you speak about Coca-Cola, for example, you can have a can of Coca-Cola or a tin of Coca-Cola. Both words are used.
But
So
tin is British, no? Tin is British, not American.
tin,
No.
yeah, I think
Yes,
it's more
British.
common in British English, tinned, yeah.
Mm.
But tinned goods or canned goods. And household we had before. So anything in the house, cleaning products, anything you use in your house is a household good. Yeah, household goods.
And then we have beverage, detergents, cleaning products, household goods, toiletries, cosmetics. Okay. So beverage is a generic word for drinks, like soft drinks, like, I don't know, Coke, Fanta, any of these. Sprite. Detergents. Detergents is for the washing machine. But well, the washing machine, the dishwasher, all kinds of detergents, no? Cleaning products. What cleaning products do you use? Or do you have no idea?
Oh, bleach. I use bleach sometimes. Yeah. Fairy liquid, which is interesting because in Spanish pronunciation, you say fiery.
Fairy.
But we say fairy because fairy is other in Spanish. Fairy liquid.
Fairy liquid is, but that's the soap for the dishes, no?
Yeah, dish soap, because I do the washing up.
Yeah. Cleaning products and household goods is toilet paper, all kinds of things, no? And toiletries is artículos de aseo, okay? Artículos de aseo, it can be shampoo, soap, I don't know. There are many. I cannot think of all of them. And then you have also cosmetics. What is your favorite? I wasn't going to ask cosmetics, but your favorite
lipstick. Actually, speaking of that, I did put some
cream.
No, powder on my face when I was recording with videos. I'm creating a course, online course.
You put powder on your face?
Yeah, because sometimes the light shines on your face and it reflects. So I put some makeup, some powder
from your wife.
on my, yeah, I stole some and put some on my face to stop it shining.
Toiletries. I was asking about toiletries. Do you use? I started using organic toiletries, shampoo and all that.
Me too. I started using organic deodorant. Yeah.
Yeah, deodorant.
Yeah. But the reason these are here is because if you go into a supermarket in an English-speaking country, you'll see the signs on the aisles for these different goods. So you'll see the beverages sign, the cosmetics sign, and each aisle has these products in it. So you may not know, you may not be aware of what they represent.
Yeah, especially probably beverages.
Yeah.
That's the word that is probably not known. Detergents is the same.
I forgive you, Gemma. It's okay. You can use Mercadona cleaning products.
Me too.
We use Mercadona cleaning products as well sometimes.
So your wife.
Because bleach is bleach, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's not the same.
If
you're buying tuna, you want to have a choice, maybe. But if you're buying bleach, bleach is bleach.
Well, no, there's different types of bleaches.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a cheaper one without any. I buy one that's splash free. So because it's dense so that it doesn't splash on you, because if it splashes, you get all kinds of stains all over, spots, white spots, and you ruin your clothes basically.
Well, I've learned something. I had no idea there was splash proof.
Free. Well, proof
That's
free.
difficult
I don't know
to
how you
say.
say that, but it's I noticed that because I had this problem that sometimes you just pour the liquid and it starts splashing. And I'm always many times I'm wearing dark clothes, in the winter especially. Not today, as you can see, but many times I'm wearing black clothes, and then this is a mess because you cannot fix it once once you get bleach on your clothes, it's over for it.
You have to bleach everything white. You have to change it all white.
Embroidery something on top or something like that. One time I did that because okay.
So looking at these different products in the aisles, what happens when people buy these products and the shelves are empty? Well, there's a verb in English, to stack. To stack means to put one thing on top of another. So to stack the shelves is replacing the products that have been sold and putting new products on the shelves. Shelves is an irregular plural. So the singular is shelf, S-H-E-L-F. And there are a few words in English where the plural has a V, like wolf, lobo, wolves, for example. And shelves is another one. The pronunciation's a bit difficult. Shelves. And the person who stacks the shelf is a shelf stacker. I had that job when I was young. I was a shelf stacker in a supermarket.
Sorry, I interrupted. I wanted to say that this in Spanish is called un reponedor. Reponedor. So
a reputter.
Yeah.
A reputter, which doesn't exist.
And I also find out that the word stack is Scandinavian, and it comes from pile. It means pile or heap. So una pila o un montón. To stack, apilar, no? To put all the... But in Spanish, I think for supermarkets, we use reponer. The word that we use, at least in Spain, we use reponer. Okay, and un reponedor. Your job was a reponedor.
Yes,
Sometimes in some supermarkets, well, Mercadona, I think they have like shifts. You know, they work as cashiers, they work as a shelf stacker, they work as a fishmonger, they work as a in different areas and different aisles.
Norma says that she that she likes to go shopping. Do you enjoy shopping for food, Monica, or is it a chore for you? A chore is una tarea, something you don't like to do, but you have to do. A chore.
Chores. No, it's chores.
Do you enjoy it? Did you enjoy shopping for food?
Food? No. Unless I'm very hungry, then I enjoy it because I want to eat it. But that's it. And shopping, certain things only. No, if you tell me, last week we had to buy a new vacuum cleaner because the other one broke, and it was like a little bit of a torture to go get in. Yeah, because you have so many brands, so many things, and then when the one you want, out of stock. Maybe I already mentioned one word that you're going to say. It's out of stock. Oh, look!
It's the next one.
I can predict the future.
You're psychic.
Psychic. I'm a psychic. To be in stock, it means that stock is like to store, no? So to be in stock is that you have it in somewhere in a warehouse. You have there the different products. And out of stock means that you run out of it. So they have to order again to the factory where they make that product. Okay. And so it's very easy because in Spanish we use the same word, stock. It's the same word.
But you don't use the same word reponer in Argentina.
Yeah, it says repositor, but similar. It's similar. It's funny. It's funny because it's funny. It's the same thing, but it's not like apilador or something like that. It's repositor and reponedor.
And Murta says that at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a great shortage of toilet paper. Yes, there was in here where I live in Valencia in Spain. Also,
everywhere.
toilet paper was out of stock. And
Exactly.
rice was out of stock. And some flour. I think
Flour
was
because
out
of
of
baking,
stock.
because everybody started baking.
What else was out of stock during the pandemic?
There were many things out of stock.
Yeah, that was a problem. So out of stock, there is none left. That's the vocabulary that we wanted to look at with you, but we do have some questions to discuss. Which are better, big supermarkets, small grocery stores, or outdoor markets where you can buy fresh fruit and vegetables? Where would you prefer to shop?
Depends on what I'm going to shop. Okay, so if I want to buy fresh and seasonal food, outdoor market for sure. But also it's a question of time, to be honest, because I don't have too much time. So I would like to go to outdoor markets and all that, but it's not so easy. The problem of small grocery stores, I like them, but I only use them when I run out of something, and then I have to rush, and the nearest small grocery store that I have there, I get it. Okay, it's usually a Chinese guy. That's always open. It's open like he says there, open from 9 to 11. Imagine, no,
just 2 hours.
No, 9 to 11 p.m.
Oh.
Really?
Do you ever buy food online?
I did in the past when I had a baby. And then because the whole system collapses when you have a baby, you cannot do anything. So I started shopping online many years ago, and I didn't like it too much because what they did, they brought me a replacement because there was not the thing I ordered, so they brought something else, and it was a little bit of a mess. Yeah. I prefer to go and get the food myself. And big supermarkets depends also. And you, what about you? Oh.
I have bought online in the past, not so much now, but I don't have much patience for food shopping. So some people like to shop around and check prices and go to different supermarkets. I like to go to one supermarket, maybe once a week, buy everything, and then forget about food for the week. So I don't like to shop every day, or I just like to do it once and then forget it. Yeah. Do a big shop. One big shop, at least once a week, probably. Yeah, Graciela is saying the corner shop, which is a British English way of describing a grocery shop. A corner shop, a shop on the corner, but it also describes a shop that's maybe family run or family owned, and they just have a small selection of basic food. A grocery shop. And in Argentina, you say no hay stock.
It's the same.
So you use the British word.
Yeah, it's true. In Spanish from Spain too.
Okay.
More questions?
More questions. Let's see if you're watching this live, tell us what you think. If you had 2 minutes to fill your supermarket trolley for free, what would you put in it?
What will you fill it with? Okay.
Sometimes you have these competitions where you have these reality shows and people win 2 minutes in the supermarket or 5 minutes and they can put anything in the trolley.
Why? I think I would just put the products that I often buy because it will be very useful. Like I always buy bananas, for example, as my favorite fruit. I always buy avocados. Also cherry tomatoes. Mostly vegetables, I would say, and then maybe nuts. All the things that are quite healthy food.
You eat very healthily.
Do. And yes, some salmon, for example, some fish, some eggs, and so the foods that I eat every day, more or less. I mean, and you, Craig, what would you fill it in?
I would put 3 things inside. because I've thought about this a lot. I would put chocolate,
Yeah.
meat, because it's quite expensive meat, isn't it? So I'd put as
Yeah.
much meat as possible, and alcohol, because although I don't drink alcohol, if I filled the trolley with bottles of whiskey, bottles of vodka, and bottles of alcohol, I could sell it after and make some money.
That's that's true. It's a solution in case you're in need. So that's a funny question.
Norma would put meat and fish in her trolley,
And also eggs.
and eggs.
Yeah.
Yep. But if you're rushing, you might break the eggs. One final question before we revise the vocabulary and leave you. So one final discussion question. Supermarket psychology. Now, if you think of the things in a supermarket, you have fruit and vegetables, alcohol, sweets and chocolates, meat and fish, bread and milk, fresh meat. There's a psychology behind where these things are in a supermarket. If you think of your local supermarket, there's probably one main entrance. What's the first thing you see when you walk in the supermarket, and why is it there?
Yes, this is the question. No?
What do you think? What's the first
depends
thing you
on the
see?
kind of supermarket you go, because it's different. Yeah, they all have their own strategy. And I'm thinking, when I enter the supermarket, what's the first thing I see is the things that I wouldn't buy, that is baby stuff.
Really? Is that
Yeah,
the main
to the left.
entrance? The main entrance to your supermarket?
Mercadona, yeah, to the left is baby stuff, and then there's an aisle that I don't remember, but it's usually not the things that I usually buy. I think
That's interesting.
I know why. You know why? I
Why?
know. Because of the pandemic, they
Yeah.
changed the entrance because they couldn't control the
Okay.
people on one side. If you go to the other side, it makes more sense, because the first thing you find is actually, like if you were in a market, the vegetables.
Exactly. That's what I was
The
looking for.
vegetables.
Fruit and vegetables. Why?
Yes.
Because they're very colorful, and it gives you the feeling of walking into an outdoor market.
Exactly. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Outdoor market. But because of the pandemic, they closed that entrance and they put it where the baby stuff, so I never get there. But I immediately go to the supermarket.
The pandemic's changed everything. What
Yeah.
about bread and milk?
The bread and milk? What?
Bread and where's the bread and where's the milk in your supermarket? Is it near
Where's
the
the
entrance?
No. Bread and milk is something
why
that you
not?
will always buy, so you have to go
Exactly.
all the way in. Yeah. Bread and milk
And
is at the end. Yeah.
And usually they're not together, because those are the
No.
two most bought items. They're at opposite sides of the supermarket, so you have to cross the supermarket and you see all the other products.
But you know what? Sometimes they piss me off, because
Why?
this is really, because they change the place, and they have like a routine of every now and then changing the place, the normal place where you find the things. And then they make you go all over but we have always been buying the bread here. Why do I have to go to the other aisle? And then you have to ask, and says, I get pissed off when this happens. Yeah.
Gemma says, yeah, me too, fruit and vegetables at her local.
Yeah. And then Aldo
And
says
cheese. Oh, I love cheese.
Dogs.
Yeah.
Aldo would put in the trolley the question
Dog
that
food.
you asked before: dog food for the street dogs.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like it. I like it. When I go to Aldi, the first thing I see are cakes, biscuits, cookies, and tea and coffee.
Yeah, that could be because of if you're a sweet tooth, this is something that you want to get immediately. Usually they're very far from there.
Exactly, Damara, because that makes sure that you see all the different products and you buy more things. Interestingly, though, thinking about that, for example, where would you expect to see things like chewing gum, sweets, maybe some sweets and chocolates, batteries? Where are they?
Near the cashier and the checkout lines, because this is something that you take at the last moment. There's like, I forgot this. I am going to take it, like the last moment wish, something like this.
There's an
There's not
expression.
something really not necessary, but you feel like tempted. Right?
Exactly. So there's an expression I'll put in the chat box: to buy on impulse, an impulse buy. So you're standing waiting and you see, batteries or chewing gum or something small or something for your children. You buy some sweets. They're usually at the checkout. Yeah. Sortie is French, I think, isn't it? Sortie, near to the exit. Near to the exit. Where's the alcohol?
The alcohol is all together, and it's like the second aisle. It's also not so far away. I'm saying there are a lot of winos around.
A lot of winos in your area.
No, I think everywhere.
But is it near the entrance or near the exit though, Monica?
I'm thinking no, it's near the entrance.
Really?
It could be entrance and exit, yeah. But maybe it's also because they changed the design after the pandemic. Don't know.
But usually, very often it's near the exit. Because
in another supermarket I go, this Eroski has it. It's true, and also they have a lock. You have to ask for it because probably they steal it. So,
but why do you think alcohol is often near the exit? What's the psychology for that?
I suppose it's because it's heavy, and and at the end you don't want to walk around with all these whiskey bottles, no?
Possibly.
It's too heavy.
Also, I think because you want to reward yourself for doing the shopping. So you maybe buy a bottle of wine or maybe a couple of beers. I've done the shopping. I need a drink. I want to take a bottle of wine home. So to buy yourself something and treat yourself for doing the shopping. And if you're a wino, then you just go there and you buy it anyway. Okay, I think we'll quickly go back and revise the vocabulary that we've looked at today. So Monica.
Supermarket, hypermarket, very easy because it's the same word in Spanish. And then we have grocery shop for British English and grocery store for American English. And this is more family-owned shop. And the difference is also the supermarket are usually chains, and this is just one shop.
And also we had the word. We also had the word corner shop, which is very similar in UK English to grocery store.
Yeah.
Then a chain of supermarkets is many of the same supermarket, and a cooperative is where the staff or the workers have shares in the business.
Then we have retail and wholesale. Wholesale is venta al por mayor, and retail is venta al por menor. Okay.
The checkout is where you pay for your shopping, and the cashier is the person who works there, and that person takes your money and puts your money in the till, which is the drawer, or cash register.
And the cash register is la caja registradora.
Yeah. The barcode reader is the machine that reads the barcode.
The card swipe is a machine. The card reader es un lector de tarjetas, lector de tarjetas in Spanish. And card swipe is just the movement. No?
Receipt is the piece of paper you get when you buy something in a supermarket. If you're in a cafe or a bar or a restaurant, it's called the bill. And the tax factura is invoice.
The aisle is el pasillo.
And trolley with wheels, shopping cart in American English, and basket you hold in your hand.
Then we talked about different brands. Own brand, la marca propia, well-known brand, marca conocida, and household brand also is the same as marca conocida, no? That everybody uses.
All these adjectives describe goods or food. So prepackaged is packaged before. Frozen, congelado, canned or tinned comes in a metal can. And anything connected to your house, you can use the adjective household. So household goods.
Then you have these are different sections in the supermarket. Beverages, bebidas, detergents, detergentes, cleaning products, productos de limpieza, household goods, productos para el hogar, toiletries es artículos de aseo y cosmetics es maquillaje.
When things get bought in a supermarket, the shelf stacker is the person who puts things back or stacks the shelf.
To be in stock or to be out of stock is the same in Spanish. No tener stock or tener stock or no tener stock. Okay.
And that's it. I hope you found this useful. Yeah. Thank you very much for being with us. Just before we go, if this is your first time watching the video, maybe after the fact or watching us live, my name's Craig from mansioningles.com, where you can learn English for free. And because we're nearly in November, November's next week, November is where you can get good deals on products. And Black Friday is towards the end of November, and Cyber Monday is on the 29th of November. And we're going to have some special offers for some of our courses and products on the Mansion Inglés website. So I'll give you more details next month about that. And to remind you about the podcast, inglespodcast.com, where you can listen to English for free wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Okay. And my name is Monica, and I'm the author of Blog del Inglés, and you can find there online classes, online English classes. And Blog del Inglés is an explanation. You'll find this Facebook Live written in Spanish. So it's all in Spanish with the translation. If you want to have the written information and in Spanish. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Gemma. Have a good week. Thank you,
yeah.
Norma. Thank you, Graciela. And Pilar, thanks for being here. And Carmele, thank you very much. Good to see you all. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday.
With Lynn and Monica. We're back in 2
15
weeks.
days, in a fortnight. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Have a good week.
Bye.